Okay, so today we're going to take a little bit of a look at strings, and we've actually been using strings quite a bit in our studies of C++ so far. But what we know so far is we know that we need to have pound include string in order to use them on most compilers. Some compilers are nice and throw it in there for you, but you don't want to rely on the generosity of a compiler writer. So it's always best to do pound include string if you're going to use them in your programs. We know how to read them in, we know how to write them out. But that's pretty much it in terms of manipulation. So what are some of the tricks that we can do with the string? Well, we can get a single character from a string. So a string is just a sequence of characters. And, we can think of that in the same way with our words in our natural languages. They're just a sequence of characters. What we can do is we can use the indexing notation to get an individual character. So here's string s, it's equal to hello world. The 0 position is the capital H, the 1 is the E, 2 is the L, 3 is the first L or second L, and 4 is the O. So S0 is the character capital H. So we can use that index to get particular characters from. The other thing we can do is we can get the length of the string. And this is quite useful. So here we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we output the length of that string, it will say 6 because that's 6 characters long. How does it know this? Well, under the hood, what we have is an array, and we're going to get into arrays a little bit later in the course. But an array basically is a collection of a particular type, and it will tell us how long there is. And there's also a special termination character \0 at the end. So back in the old days when we had C, and if you see some old C code, you may see arrays of characters. And this might be an initialization of some very, very old C code. I think you can use double quotes nowadays with C, but don't quote me on that. Yeah, in fact, this one would be char C 20 length 20 and say this is a C string. So you can use the double quotes, and that's probably the easier way to do things. You can add one string to another. That's called concatenation using the plus or the plus equal operator. So for example, string 1 is Keith and string 2 is Edwards, and I could do full name is equal to string 1 plus string 2. Or, if I wanted to add Edwards to the end of Keith, I could do string 1 plus equals string 2. That's the same thing as saying string 1 is equal to string 1 plus string 2. We can also get substrings. That's small parts of an entire string. So, for example, if I have this as a test string and I do substring from 1 to 3, it will start at character 1. Remember, C++ starts numbering at 0, so the capital T is position 0, position 1 is H, and then it will go 3, so we'll get HIS. If I start at 10 and go 4, it will get test. So you can also search strings, and it'll return the position of the substring in a larger string, or -1 if it doesn't exist. For example, string str is the bare necessities. I didn't want to get sued by Disney, so I used the original Rudyard Kipling Baloo from 1895, and even that's cutting it close with copyright law the way it is nowadays, because Kipling died in 1936, so this probably wouldn't have been cool to use up until 2006, but hey, it's later than that now, so we can actually use it. So if I want to find bar within this string, it would return 4. And it'd say it starts at position 4. And I know that's of length 3, so I could actually get that substring. Bare, it's not going to find it. At least BAR, the bear like blue here, but it would find BARE. You can also do replacement, which replaces part of the string or the whole string. You give a position, a length, and the new string that you want to add in. So, for example, we could say, hey, strings are not a lot of fun. I think they are. So, what I'd like to do is replace starting at position 12 and replacing 3 of them with the text really. So that's going to start at the in for not, and it's going to get rid of 3 of those and replace it with really. So I will have strings are really a lot of fun, and that's more along my line of thinking. So some other less common operations, although I think some of these are common in caddis type problems. You can get a lot of these operations by using the dot operator. So you give the name of the string and you put in the period, and it'll come up with a list of really cool things that you can do. Swap swaps the value of the string with the parameter that you pass it. Erase, which is very, very useful in caddis type problems or competitive programming problems. Erases all the values in the string. Compare compares the string with the one you passed to it for equality. And empty checks to see if the string is empty. And there's a whole lot more. Take a look at pages 496 to 497 in chapter 7 of the Malik text. You can familiarize yourself with a lot of those string operations, and examples 714 to 717 show how those work. Thanks so much for watching.